shake it up. Shaking up the garbage we feed on, shaking up our wondrous being. Let's begin to reform, even if just for a moment, to share the cloying and the suffocating skin. Let's shake it up right now. Let's shake it up right now. Let's shake it up right now. Shake it up. Languishing in false lucidity doesn't benefit the greater cause. Driving blind and clawing wildly, wreaking havoc, banging heads against the wall. Let's shake it up right now. Let's shake it up right now. Let's shake it up right now. Let's shake it up. Shake it up.
Wailing at the hope struck numb by rules that make no sense at all.
Let's shake it
Let's
up
begin
right
the
now.
reform. Let's open up the door. Let's shake it up right now. Let's utilize the power. Let's shake it up
Right now. Let's shake it up right now. Let's shake it up right now. Shake it up right now. Let's 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 shake it up right now.
I'm going to welcome to the Creative Shake-Up. We have, it feels like when I was thinking of this earlier, it feels like a double act. Brad and Johnny, or Johnny and Brad. It sounds like a double act. So, Brad, are you okay for me to use your surname?
Yes, of course,
Brad-
yeah, absolutely.
Brad Knight and JonnyMidd, artist known as JonnyMidd, and we're going to find out a little bit more about that in a moment. And lots to share, lots to go through, and we're sharing creativity as a opportunity to connect with as many human beings as possible. And I'm sure that speaks in some form for all of us. That's what this show and opportunity is about. So between the three of us, it's a fluid conversation. But Johnny, I've looked at your music. I did a TikTok live at time of recording, and I shared one of your tracks. So I shared
really? Thank you.
Evolution. Yeah. Gorgeous sound, absolutely brilliant sound. I want you, if you can, don't go back into the past too much yet, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But I want you to share kind of your journey of music without giving too much detail at the moment, and what's happening for you now. What are the current music projects, and what you're doing at this current moment in time?
Well, at the moment, it's my birthday on your opening day, and it's my 60th birthday.
Wow,
So
you're ahead of me.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, you're ahead of me by a few months. So I already know that Happy Birthday is copyright free. So that's definitely being played in the show. And you never know, I might be singing it to you in a moment. I'll leave it up to Brad if you want to join in as well. But happy birthday for May the 23rd. Yeah?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
And the 60th as well, man.
Yeah.
That's extra special.
Big one. Yeah. So I'm really pleased. Isn't it funny how things come together in the right way?
It's
Synchronicity,
really weird
right?
because
Yeah. So
I've just had some-
share a little bit about how you came into music. So you're a musician, producer, a keyboard warrior in a good way. Not a keyboard
I won't
warrior
say-
in a
I
negative way,
won't
I
say
can
I'm a
see.
keyboard warrior or a producer. I suppose I am in a way because I've made some records, but I'm not in the same class as yourselves. I feel really humbled that you're actually talking to me, to be honest. I'm just an old man that started a few years ago. Always had an interest in music. Started off when I was very young. I was very much into Mike Oldfield and Jean-Michel Jarre.
Oh, wow.
And I was obsessed how he could play all them instruments with a 16-track recorder. And his first Tubular Bells album, I was listening to that when all my friends were listening to punk rock. And then I slowly, through 80s, I just loved so much electronic music. Could never afford anything back then.
What types, Johnny?
The,
What types? Because this is a passion for me. I love
first
keyboard
one-
music.
Yeah, my first one was the NSH01. I got it from a catalogue at so much a month. And I can't play proper keyboards. I can knock a tune out, but I can't read music.
Neither
So
can I.
get a tune. Yeah. What, you can't read music either?
No, not at
Well,
all.
that's surprising.
And I think straight away out of the gate there, we're removing the barriers of perception, because I think it's very important what you shared earlier. I get it. You were kind of diminishing what it is that you do, but in a very, very gentle, loving way. I beg to differ, because I think really, if you think of it, synth music was a gateway opportunity for many artists who could create music in their bedrooms, and that's how I started.
Really?
Because it was the 80s. It was the 80s,
Yeah,
and it was synth pop. So
Yeah.
very much so. So have you always played?
My first keyboard, I think I was 8-year-old, it was a Bon Tempi reed organ for
Wow.
Christmas. And the first thing I learned to play by numbers was Silent Night.
Oh, wow.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my first record, my first memory of keyboards. And then I bought my first one when I was 16. And I'll be honest, I sent it back, to be honest, because it was monophonic and I couldn't get my head around only being able to press one key at a time.
Yeah.
So that got sent back. And then I got into it about 3 years ago. You get older, life gets easier, you get some spare money. And I bought myself a few keyboards, watched loads of videos on the internet. There's a fella called Studio, he's quite intelligent and knows what he's talking about. And I've always loved sort of like electronic music, trancey sort of music. So I thought I'd give it a go. Because if Mike Oldfield can do it back in 1976 with a 16-track recorder, at least these days now with Ableton and stuff like that, anytime you make a mistake, you can go back and rectify it, can't you?
Excellent. So, and it's
That's how I
become
got into it.
it's become more for you. So share with us a little bit, because we'll go back into the formative aspects of you. But I'm really, really interested in what is current for you. So what's happening now? What's the kind of buzz for you at this moment in terms of what you're creating, projects you're working on, projects you're sharing? What's the now?
I've just got my latest single's coming out, should be today actually. That's called Aurora. I've just been watching Spotify and Amazon Music, but it's not come on yet. It usually comes first on YouTube Music, but it's not come on yet. I was hoping it'll be on tonight to show you, but I don't think it's on.
Do you know what? I've got to pause you there, because I think you're speaking a universal language of people that release music. So I know I can speak on behalf of me, because when you just said a magic phrase, you said about usually it comes out on YouTube first, spot on. So there's the voice of experience. So I know our audience will be a mix of people, of course, listening. Your music will be shared. So Aurora, that's the latest at time of recording. So I will make sure that's played for people to listen to. And also, of course, there will be artists who are listening who are wanting and desiring to share their music. So I think you're a real source of encouragement in that regard. And if I just briefly share a little bit of me. Now, I've written songs for many, many decades, but I stopped for a long period of time. And one thing I'm discovering, and I'm discovering it with you now in this moment, is this almost regeneration, this rekindling of desires, perhaps that we did things years ago and then stopped for a period of time and then started again. And I think just listening to you, that's a great encouragement. I'd like you to consider that thought in a moment with regard to those listening, because 60th birthday, happy birthday at time of airing. That's a real encouragement. You're talking about a new single. You're talking about, you got music.
I look a lot older though, don't I?
No, you actually don't. You actually don't, to be honest with you. I'm 60. I'm 60 in December. I'm 60 in December. I would suggest strongly you look younger than me. But no, that's fantastic. That's so encouraging. So you've got Aurora. What is the current? I suppose it is future. But what's the objective of you creating music? You obviously enjoy it. You love it. What do you hope to achieve by sharing it?
Right. I know I'm not that good. I try. I've got a few listeners, and it's nice when people say they've listened to your music and they like it.
Yeah.
I get lots of comments, and I'm surprised that people actually listen sometimes, because there's a lot better music than what mine is. I'm not, I know there is. So when I know somebody's listened to it, it's like, it makes you feel good, doesn't it, in a way?
Yeah. There's place for everything. There's place for everything. I think comparison, I do understand what you mean. My first album I released was recorded in GarageBand.
Right.
It wasn't as good as the music that I release now, because now I use a proper recording studio. I produced, mastered, but I did it. And I think, again, I want to just encourage in this conversation accessibility. Comparison of good, bad, that's very subjective, isn't it? Yeah. So I've listened to your music already, and I know I'm going to be listening more. And Dreamcatcher Radio, I know that's one of the visions here, which is more people are going to be listening to it.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you.
Totally. That's kind of a fundamental thing. Go on, Brad. You look.
Yeah. One thing, having chatted with Johnny briefly, and it was really interesting because he's so humble. And one thing I want to drag you back to, whilst keeping momentum, what Ray's saying about moving forward, because I believe you're the kind of man that has always had a passion for music, and I'll explain why very briefly. And you lost it briefly, and the catalyst to bring it back to you was COVID, because you didn't have anything to do. And now you're on a track which you don't know where it's heading, and you're actually brutally honest. You even just said it yourself. And I remember on the phone call, sitting in a car park in Canterbury, where you said to me again, and it's a very hard comment for someone to reply to, I'm not very good. But, in all honesty, it's in the eye of the beholder or the listener in some respects, because we all like different genres at different times of the day, the moment, our thoughts and feelings and all that sort of stuff. And just looking at your setup there, which I've seen with all the pianos and all the little bits and pieces, they all have meaning. They all have meaning to you and hopefully some of your listeners and stuff like that. But I just want to focus on the fact of you losing music, but probably always participated, but you took a step back. And it took an event to say, actually, I want to really go in my passion. And you're of age, really, and I know you wouldn't mind me saying this, is that you're preparing for retirement and stuff like that. And one of the presenters on Dreamcatcher Radio is 86 years old. He doesn't sound it. He doesn't sound it. The youngest is 19. So I don't want to go off topic from Ray, but I just thought I'd just put that out there.
That's great. I think that's really important, Brad. I really do. Age has changed. So again, I can only share me, which is why I do. So it's not egocentric, and if anybody thinks it is, there's nothing I can do about that. But I found people magnetized towards me who experienced what I experienced, which was this fallow, these years, decades of not doing anything. And obviously I've got my own personal journey around that. But I find so many people who have revisited a wide variety of different things. And whilst we're talking about music, it could be a hobby, a pastime. So I'm very passionate about not minimising things, which is not criticism. But I think what you're achieving, Johnny, is absolutely fantastic. I really, really do. And the quality, honestly, I really do. I'm so pleased. That's why I don't know if you saw me respond when you said Mike Oldfield, Jean-Michel Jarre. When I listened to the music immediately, those are some of the artists that I thought of. And that's
Thank you.
And that's the quality. Tangerine Dream, if that means anything to you. Tangerine Dream were a lesser known group, but very kind of synth-based music. I guess, Howard Jones, he was very much an influence on me as a solo artist, singer, keyboard player. So
my wife, you know the song, New Song?
Yeah.
The one when he filmed it in Trafalgar Square, my wife were on that video.
No.
Yeah, she was. She was there. And it came up to it. He was dancing around, she was telling me. And nobody knew who he was. But yeah, she was on Trafalgar Square when they were filming New Song.
Do you know what I'm going to do? We're early May at time of recording. We're releasing this as my first show with Dreamcatcher. Friday the 23rd of May, your birthday, your 60th, and it's all kind of like coinciding, coming together. I used to live in an adjacent street to Howard Jones.
Did you?
Yep, I've met and spoken to Jed Hoyle, the dancer, so he would have been in New Song, the video.
Yeah.
And now you're telling me that your wife was in the video. So when I finished...
No, she's not in the video. No, Ray, she's not in the video. She was there. It was clipped out. She was there. She's not actually in the video. Because I've looked. But she's not in the video, but she was at the location when they was filming.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's incredible, isn't it? That timing of events coming together is absolutely incredible. And I think the timing of this is... I do understand the humility, Johnny, I do. I do understand that, and I think we can decide to what we do with what we do. So I think in what you're doing, you're very prolific, because you've got a lot of songs released, and I get a strong feeling you're at time of talking, we've got Aurora coming out.
Yeah, I think I've got about 32, I think, something like that so far. All these pictures behind me, they're all my singles. Well.
That's incredible. So, Celestial, Orbital, is that?
Yeah.
Evolution, I know. Fantasia, you've got a song out, is that correct? Yeah.
That was out, the previous one to this one. Two back, because I've just done Evolution, haven't I? Fanfare for Mankind. That's an EP with 3 songs on. So the one before that is called Fantasia. That's the same sort of synthy vibe, instrumental. That's what I like.
Again, it's such an encouragement. You're in TikTok. I've seen you in TikTok. For years, I didn't venture into TikTok because I thought TikTok was just for people considerably younger than me. And I was wrong. Fundamentally wrong. Now, we're going to be sharing this everywhere, Johnny. And I know in my show, I'm going to have a mixed bag of music. It's not going to be one particular type of music. It's going to be so many varied ages as well. So to be here with you, recording what we're recording now, with the introduction of Brad, it's like, and now at time of release, it's going to be your 60th birthday. I'm very, very often, rarely am I short of thinking what to say. It's absolutely incredible. You couldn't write it, could you? If you think, if we'd actually set out a plan and thought, this is what we're going to do, it's amazing. So
Brad
I know.
Messaged me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just saying that. Brad messaged me, and I didn't answer because I thought it was a hoax.
Right.
Then he messaged me again, and I thought, well, he's going to think I'm rude here, not answering back. So I did answer back, and then obviously we had a conversation. and I can't believe I'm talking to you now. Unbelievable. Thank you.
Well, we've all got that kind of strange disbelief in this moment, but it's absolutely fantastic, and it proves what can be achieved. I notice with your music that it's varied. There's upbeat, there's energetic, there's emotive, deep land soundscapes, I think is an expression you use. When you create, where does that come from, if that makes any sense? Because obviously there's the playing, but how would you describe the process?
Ray, I'll be perfectly honest. I just tinkle around on my keyboard until I find a sound that I like, and I'll put that onto my Ableton, and then I'll try and make another sound that sounds similar to it, do a few chords, put that on my Ableton, and then another idea will come into my head a few days later, and I'll put that on, and then it all seems to come together in my head. I don't have a plan. It's just, I don't know. I'm quite a private person, so I don't ever say out much at work. But like, if there's something in your head, maybe that's where I get my inspiration from without realising it. If that makes sense.
Totally. It's everywhere, isn't it? How do you want people that listen to feel? And I know that will vary from song to song, but what?
I'd like them not to turn off.
Yeah.
That's if somebody listens to my music and they like it, that would really mean a lot to me. It really would.
So let's focus on Aurora.
Yeah.
With that composition, that arrangement.
Yeah.
What's your desired feeling that you are aiming through the creation for people to feel?
I want people to remember the 90s, when trance was happening, and that dreamy sort of music. So that's where that inspiration come from for that song. And rather than doing what everybody does, I just use different drums rather than a trance drum, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, maybe it's just the sounds I like. Maybe more traditional drums rather than electronic drums. So all the drums that I use are obviously on the software, and all the sounds that I use are either on my Wave State here, my Roland. I've got another new Roland, which, to be honest, I've not really used much. It's taking some getting used to. And other is on, Arturia, is it? That's part of Ableton.
Yeah.
I use that as well.
Okay. So mixed bag, really mixed bag of instrumentation.
So every song that I've made so far, Ray, has got a mixture of everything. Some might be out of Ableton, because there's about 3,000 instruments on Ableton. And other sounds are off my Wave State or my Roland Phantom.
Brilliant.
I've got a question, if I may.
Of course.
It goes back slightly to what I alluded to just now, because you had a dip in your life, right, when it comes to music, right?
Yeah.
And that didn't mean you ignored music, but you didn't play music, wasn't involved in doing it. You've got a nice little setup going now, which we can clearly see. And as Ray's, and he did actually play your song today. I heard it. I didn't expect it. It just so happens I joined his live and he was playing it. And started talking about preparing for your interview here. But so everybody goes on a journey for music, whatever that is. So it's a bit like a little bit like religion. You look to religion in sad times. I think music, in my personal opinion, of everybody I spoke to, they go to music in happy times, sad times, and indifferent. That's my belief. Now, going back to your catalyst, to basically doing all this, what you've done, of basically having the opportunity, and I believe you're on a path of acceleration personally. From when COVID happened, you thought, what do I do? And the first thing you went to is music, which is always at your heart, but your focus was perhaps on work, life, and all this sort of thing. You had all those distractions, but then you've where do I go to? Where's my go-to place? And then you're doing all this, and you've produced so much in such a short space of time.
Thank you.
The evidence doesn't lie. It's all online. Ray, I'll let you take over.
No,
that,
I'm glad you took us back because I wanted that's kind of like the heart section, if you like. So when I do podcast discussions, I want to know what people are doing at the moment. Then I want to spend a longer chunk of time, the heart of it, what caused it, because there are pivotal moments in life that trigger people. I'm vocal. I'm a throat cancer survivor. That's a very, very succinct way of me sharing why I do what I do, because it was such a profound trigger in my life for not just me sharing my voice, but me wanting to create platforms and be a part of platforms that create a voice for others because of my experience. So I want to kind of use that as the opportunity, Johnny, to now think what has accelerated, because it's quite right what Brad said, because the evidence is there. What has made you create more? What things in life that you're comfortable sharing? Because of course I'm not asking you to share anything you don't want to, but dive into if there are elements that you're emotionally comfortable to share.
My sister died during COVID. My wife has been very, very poorly over the years. She's a lot better now. Nearly lost her twice with sepsis. So music means a lot, really. Just a way of getting your emotions out, isn't it?
Thanks for sharing that. Thank you. And during that time, which was a difficult, challenging time for many people, I think a message I'm feeling with you is you took the loss, the experience. I'm not speaking for you, Johnny, and created something out of it. Are there any particular songs that relate to that? Any particular musical pieces that relate?
When my wife got admitted to hospital, we thought we were going to lose her. I don't know if I should tell you this, but she had some problems and she had to have emergency surgery. We didn't know she was going to make it. And she was at an hospital about 20 miles away, so obviously it's very stressful, isn't it? So I just used to listen to OMD. It was Sugar Tax album. And there's an instrumental song in there called, is it Wish You Were Here or something? I can't remember at the top of my head. And it just means so much as music, doesn't it? So I used to listen to this album all the time, going twice a day. And then finally she got better after 2 years. And then obviously as you get older, there's more spare cash, isn't there? You know what I mean? As you get older, your kids leave home and you've got a little bit extra cash. So I thought, well, why not? I'll buy a keyboard. And then I just started playing. And it always stuck in my mind about Mike Oldfield, 16-track recorder, played all them instruments himself. So I remember my brother-in-law giving me a mic, those cassette recorders with a mic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I used to record myself on my Bontempi organ and try and make a song, even back then.
Right.
And obviously not very good, even worse than I am now. But so now, because it's such easy, isn't it, we're able, do you was able to, right?
No, a GarageBand is my kind of pre-creation. So at home, I tend to kind of just build a basic idea of a song, and then I take that into the studio, which is, bear with me, Logic. So, which I'm actually planning to get myself, because again, I'm looking at expansion and growth. So the studio I use, he's got an older version of it, which I'm going to purchase off him, so I can kind of do a bit more at home. And I think again, for me, without expressing you've taken that tragic, painful chapter and created. And I think as human beings, but in some ways that's all we can do, isn't it? Because from the pain, there's an opportunity of something to come out of that, and that's what you're doing, and that's why I encourage you, but I encourage others too, to try not to look at that as being a diminished thing, because it's amazing. We can get destructive. So with pain, we can be destructive. So we can take it and think, get angry, which of course is understandable, and then just start causing hurt. Well, you've not done that. You're actually creating music that many people can listen to. It's available worldwide.
Thank you, Ray.
That's incredible, isn't it? Just within itself. That
It's
achievement
amazing,
within
isn't it?
itself.
Yeah. I'll tell you a little tale. We went to Lanzarote, not last year, year before, for Christmas. And we went for Christmas. And we stood in the bar, and I could hear one of my records playing. And I went to the bar fella, and I says, "That's my song." And he looked at me. He was Spanish, and he was playing a song called which one is it now? I can't remember which one it was now. Anyway, I says, "That's me," and he didn't believe me. So I got my phone out, and then he's looking at my phone, and then it was my music that he was listening to. So
That's
God knows how very grateful.
Wow.
Yeah, quite a surreal thing. Being in a bar in an hotel, and he was playing my music in the bar.
And
That is amazing.
we're going to come back, and we're going to continue in depth in a moment. But I want to pose the question before we dive into deeply this question. Okay? Because it's now coming to me. So from that time of closing down, I try not to use the terms because I don't like to remind us all of lockdown, COVID. I'm not ignoring it existed. I just find it a challenge to use those words. So you were in that experience. You were going through immense challenges, and everything was clamped down. I want you to think very, very deeply about how you would describe the feeling of, from that world closing to now you've created experiences like you've just shared. So that there was opportunities that we didn't have. And now you've created opportunities. That's the key I want to share with you, because that's the bit that's amazing. It's incredible, Johnny. You've taken that and you've turned that into an opportunity for people to hear your music worldwide. And I'd like you to share how that feels, and also how you would encourage other people to take those experiences and do the best they can to reform them themselves.
I think if you've got a dream and you've always wanted to do something, just have a go. Because, the first song I made, it wasn't very good, but I had a go. And I think slowly, I still know I'm not good, but it's got better as I've gone on. So I think give yourself a chance. If you've got a dream, go for it, because life's short, and just, don't take yourself too seriously. Enjoy it. And if somebody else listens to your music, well, that's an amazing feeling, isn't it, Greg?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
It is.
Yes,
And it's sometimes I just can't believe that people listen, if that makes sense. Because, well, like I said, I know I'm pulling myself down. I don't want to feel negative, but I know I'm with a great, you're really good, Ray. No, you are, mate. I've listened to you.
Thank you. Thank you. But, no, well, I tell you what I've learned, Johnny, is my success and my accomplishment is the fact I'm actually doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
If that lands and it's many people or whatever it is, it's brought me into contact with incredible people like Brad and you.
Absolutely.
So therefore there's this opportunity where we can restrict, we can inhibit, we can limit, And for me, for a number of different reasons, I'm not about that for me, definitely not. And I'm not about that for other people. And that's why, therefore, I experienced meeting Brad, I experienced meeting you, and many, many others. And you've just shared a message for our listeners to encourage them to dream. To dream.
That's exactly.
Which is it.
That's exactly what I want to latch on to. You never know who's listening. And this is one of the reasons why we're promoting so many unsigned artists, because you never know. It only takes one person to hear you and think, and you that song could be in the right place at the right time.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. That's all it takes, I suppose, isn't it? Just that one chance.
And everybody is looking for something. And we are opportunity creators. As human beings, we are opportunity creators. That's what we do. So we take opportunities from other people with great gratitude, and we create opportunities for other people. So we are opportunists as human beings, and we should be. We should be, because if you create something, you've done that. You've not just created, you've shared. So that's now created an opportunity for other people.
Yeah.
Which has come into being already. He's talking about you're in another country. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I want to come back in on that in a moment, in carrying that theme of, and I know Brad, obviously you'll be able to contribute a great deal to this, which is that thought of catching dreams. There's so many messages that you and I, Johnny, have got a lot in common. We create music. We both come from a keyboard background, and a period of time for different reasons that meant that we didn't create. And I want you to share a little bit about the thought that we just concluded on a moment ago before we played some music, which is dreams, because you shared a really, really powerful message for other people who might not be songwriters, might not be keyboard players, but thinking at this moment in time, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to start up a new business, I want to, whatever it is. Could you just continue with that thought for a moment, a bit more on that, how you've done that, how you would encourage others to do that, and then I want us to conclude on the wall behind you. Because I'm impressed. I've got CDs, I've got loads of music, but I haven't done what you've done, which is you've got a collage of creativity behind you. So begin with the dreams, and then tell us a little bit about all of the music behind you, please.
Dreams. Our dream is to retire to Greece. Is that what you mean? Is that what you mean by a dream?
That's a fantastic, yeah.
So, that eventually that's his goal. But in the meantime, obviously work. I'm 60 on 23rd of May, like I said. And I'm going back as flexible retiring, so we'll be spent more time over in Greece.
And will the music continue there? I assume it will.
We'll still be living here for the time being.
Yeah.
Because you're restricted, aren't you? Is it 90 days at a time at the moment?
Right, got you. Yeah.
So it's just something that's it's in the planning, but not. I can't tell you yet.
Right. Well, thanks for sharing what you've shared, because I think that's a massive step. But of course, again, that's encouraging to other people to consider what they might feel could be a restrictive way of being, if you get me. That's a big step to move to another country. But again, there's that courage. There's that courage that you might feel, I don't know, I'm just doing this, that's a big step. What about the music?
Ray,
Go on.
I'm just about to say, you know yourself, Ray, life's so short, isn't it? You've gone through a lot. I lost my sister, as I've told you, what my wife's gone through. So live show, so we decided we've had enough. And I don't know, maybe one day this music will help us on that way. I don't know. Be a nice thought, wouldn't it, if it did?
That is the beginning of another dream, which is fantastic. It's fantastic to hear you say that, Johnny. What would you feel about your music being in film, TV?
Do you know, my son's suggested that, and I'm just happy if somebody plays me music, to be honest.
Yeah.
So if it went into film, I mean, Celestial, I think that's a really good instrumental track, Celestial. Maybe it'd be a Bond film theme one day. Who knows? And you could say, I knew JonnyMidd before he were on James Bond themes.
Fantastic. I think that's so wonderful to hear you communicating in that way. And here's my simple philosophy. Okay? It's worth it because it's taken me close to 60 years to develop this. James Bond exists. The franchise James Bond exists.
Yeah.
JonnyMidd music exists. Okay?
All
you've got to do is bring those two things together.
We can dream, can't we then?
Well, we now realise that actually the gap is only those two things. It's the gap between those two things. They both exist. So listening to you talking, that's what you're saying, bringing those two together, which is fantastic. It's brilliant and possible, 100%. So tell us a bit, Johnny, about the music, the images behind you, because I'm assuming is that most of or a sample of your music?
No. Some of them, not all of them. I think I've 30 odd, 32 singles. I think I've done one EP with 3 songs on, and about 30 songs altogether. But each one's, they're all different. If you get a chance to listen to them, they're all ideas that come into my head, and then I just play on the keyboards until it sounds something nice, really.
Fantastic.
But I tell you what I do like. I'm quite into extraterrestrials. If you look at some of my pictures,
Yeah.
so like Prelaya, that's based on aliens landing. Now you think I'm crackers, don't you?
No.
But you never know.
No.
It might be real.
No. I think we know certain things and don't know a lot of other stuff. Of course, this is
a lot from me.
This is going to be audio, but what I'm going to make sure of is to encourage people to check your music out everywhere, and then they will be able to, of course, hear the music, which I'm going to play examples of that in this show, and they'll also be able to see the images in Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, YouTube, and everywhere else that you are. Beatport as well, yeah? And
I'm on there.
Yep, all of these platforms that you're in, so everybody can check out JonnyMidd, and it's all together. So it's JonnyMidd, yeah, and website JonnyMidd.co.uk.
Yeah, JonnyMidd. Yeah.
Any kind of other places that people can find you?
I've got 1 or 2 songs on SoundCloud, but not many people listen to SoundCloud, do they?
No, I found that as well. Yeah,
I get most listens to, I think, on YouTube Music.
Excellent.
But your TikTok, like you get your analytics things come through.
Yeah.
I get more hits off TikTok than I do on anything else, which surprises me.
Great platform to encourage other artists as well, because you can release music in imagery on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram. I do that a lot, and the residual income it is pence. It is pence for the likes of you and I, but it does make a difference.
That's why it's still working.
Yeah, exactly. And I think if we are creating, we want to share in as many different places as we can, and that's what you're doing, Johnny, from a time that was challenging for you, to say the least. So I'm so grateful to you for being here. Yeah, and releasing on your birthday, May the 23rd. Happy birthday to you. And
Thank you very much.
I know, Brad, you want to share something in conclusion as well. And there'll be other bits around this, by the way, of me in the show, which is May the 23rd, 6 to 8 p.m.
Yeah, and happy birthday, Johnny, for the 23rd. And as we discussed before, it's just, I think coincidences just happen. One thing that something you could impart, which I think is probably very important, is to explain in a little bit, if possible, if we've got time, Ray, is how long it takes you to write music or even feel comfortable to write music. And do you start with a piano first, or do you start with a pen and paper first?
Always on the keyboard, just plonking away until I hear a sound. It can take 2 or 3 weeks before a song gets put together. And then the amount of times that I redo it, maybe I've got like OCD or something, but if something's not quite right, I'll do it again until I think it sounds better, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So it can take 2 or 3 weeks, longer sometimes. It's been a month sometimes before I think, yeah, that's ready to upload.
Mm. And is that in isolation by yourself, or do you go and ask other people for guidance?
No, I've done all this on myself. I've learnt it all and just practiced on my own.
You don't go out for opinions before you release it, or
no? Oh, I get lots of opinions, but they're not usually good ones.
Bless.
That was my parting question.
Yeah, cool, wonderful. Thank you both so much. It's all about development, isn't it? So you develop.
Can I just tell you, Ray? Can I just take the opportunity to say thank you to Brad for giving me this opportunity?
Yeah, of course.
No. Thank you, man, Johnny. I really appreciate your time. And this won't be the first, by the way. We'll be knocking on your door all the time. And keep showing your music, and let Ray know as well, because I'm sure he'll play it on his show.
Completely. Because that's the idea. It's Dreamcatcher Radio, original music, unsigned artists, and you create, Johnny. So therefore, it deserves to be shared. Hello there, Ray Coates here, singer-songwriter and now presenter on Dreamcatcher Radio. From May 23rd, I will be airing and sharing with you the Creative Shake-Up every Friday night, 6 to 8 p.m. and the Creative Shake-Up Wake Up every Saturday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Join me and let's shake up creatively together on Dreamcatcher Radio. Friday night, 6 to 8 p.m, the Creative Shake-Up. Saturday morning, 8 till 10 a.m, the Creative Shake-Up Wake Up. Original music, including some of mine. Independent, unsigned artists, chat, and the very important ingredient of you. Dreamcatcher Radio. Head to the website dreamcatcherradio.co.uk for more details.